I'm Jessica Johansen. I'm from Denmark originally. Grew up in France, and now I live in beautiful London in the UK. And well, I've worn a few hats, a few different hats throughout my business life. But right now, I'm a business coach with an emphasis really on bringing love marketing to the table. And when I say love marketing, what I really mean is that all of business, all of success in your life in general, all comes down to loving yourself. Because then when you really love yourself, you're able to pour so much love into your products, into your community, into your clients. And for me, loving yourself really comes from knowing yourself and accepting yourself. And that's why in my work, I use lots of different things, including human design and mindset and manifestation and all that stuff. Because for me, having tried so hard throughout my life to separate, the practical side of things from the woo-woo side of things, I just can't do that anymore. It just doesn't work for me anymore. And yeah, so that's basically what I bring to the table, and that's what I love doing. And yeah, that's who I am. It sounds like it. It's so scary to be vulnerable, right? But that's actually a huge part of my story as well. Like, I had to be vulnerable at one point because nothing else was working. And I just felt like, right, okay, I have to shed all of the BS. I'm sorry, I don't know if you allow swearing. At some point, I had like so many stories that have been sort of piled onto me throughout my life, throughout my childhood, that I had to be a certain way. That after a while, I just didn't know who I was anymore. And I was just like, right, okay, who am I without the preconceived notions of who I'm supposed to be? Who am I without, society's approval? Who am I without all the pain and all the bullshit? And then, once I got to the core of that, it's like, right, this is who I am. I have to share this. And it was so scary because, throughout my life, I always thought I had to be the perfect girl, the perfect woman, the perfect employee, the perfect daughter, the perfect business person. And that held me back in so many ways. It was actually, a breakdown and a breakthrough, because there's actually a lot of pain involved when you have to shed all those layers. And you have to basically like really reinvent who you are, because you're losing such a huge part of your identity. And actually coming forwards with your naked soul can be really terrifying. So I guess I've been dabbling in self-love and mindset and all that stuff pretty much, most of my life. But the defining moment was what I call my personal rock bottom. I guess like maybe my spiritual rock bottom. And that was last year, maybe like summer last year. And that was like the culmination of basically like wanting to be perfect online, wanting to have like this perfect veneer, this perfect facade. And after a while, I just felt so completely depleted, so completely like indecisive, so like lost and confused about, who I was and like what I was trying to do and what my mission was. And it was just like, oh my God, I don't even know who I am anymore. And how on earth can I show up online if I don't know who I am? And so I did nothing for about 3 months. I did absolutely nothing. My money just sort of, crawled to a stop. And to be honest, I had no real idea, no real desire to get it started again, because the ways I had made money before, I couldn't bear to even think of going back to them, right? I had to be something completely different, but I felt completely lost. And I was messaging my friend on WhatsApp, my business partner on WhatsApp one day. And I said to her, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. And she said, well, what if you didn't have to be perfect? She said to me, like, what if I didn't have to be perfect? What if just being yourself could be enough? And I'm crying because I'm sick, but I'm also crying because it was a very emotional moment. Sorry about that. And from there on, it was just more like, I can't be anything but myself. Every time that I've been anything but myself, I've failed. I've just been stuck, and I felt really shit about myself the whole way, because I felt like I was pretending, and I was. And so if all I can do is be myself, then I'm just going to show up as myself. And so I just started writing about anti-perfectionism, because all throughout my life, I had this notion that I had to be perfect. Only child, right? So like all my parents' expectations like piling on top of me. And so I had to be perfect at school. I had to be perfect in sports. I had to be perfect at everything. And so I carried that mentality through with me. But in the end, I realized it just didn't serve me. It literally made me sick and depressed. And I started exploring, the link between perfectionism and addiction. I started exploring like what it would be if we had like an anti-perfectionist movement. And so that was really like the before and after. So in that moment, I decided to just drop this need to be perfect and just, run with anti-perfectionism, and that was it. Now, I'm a pragmatist by nature. So for me to go like, fully woo was actually quite a big step for me. But what worked for me as a pragmatist was really basically testing it for myself, making up my own mind about it, and actually seeing the results in my own life. And the results have been absolutely undeniable. The way I feel now is absolutely undeniable. Ever since I decided to embrace the whole mindset thing, my inner talk has completely transformed, and that was like the main factor in everything else. Manifestation for me, I mean, again, it's like, oh right, okay, like put a wish into the universe and get to the right vibrational frequency. I was like, what? But then I just did it, and I did it again and again. And I think, for the most skeptical people out there, the only thing that they can do is just make a micro leap of faith and give it a try. Just test it. Just test it. And the only other thing we can do, really, apart from educating and sharing and that kind of thing, is just lead by example. Live our best lives and manifest the crap out of all the things that we want, and just be that shining light, that other people can't help but be curious about. And so then they can't help themselves but ask. And then when they ask us, then we can share, and then they'll be open to receive. But I think, if people are really, really close-minded about this kind of stuff, it can be difficult for us to actually share, because they'll be, they won't be in the receiving mode. But if we shine our light and we actually show what's possible, then I think that's going to be a big change. The main thing I want to say is, by all means, try lots of different ways of marketing yourself. Try lots of different, ways of structuring your business and that kind of stuff. But don't feel like you don't have to do everything the way that one person tells you to do it. And if it doesn't work for you just because one person told you, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you'll never be successful. It's just that you haven't found the way that works for you. And so I would really encourage you to get to know yourself as well as you possibly can, and to accept yourself and to love yourself as you are, because having that self-love is really going to help you be a lot more discerning about the tactics that you use, the people that you reach out to, the things that you sell and how you sell them. Just don't be afraid of honoring who you are, because that'll take you a lot further in life and in business than anything else, including rehashed marketing strategies.